Hello.
Well, hey there, it's Elke.
And Jen.
And we're here to talk to you again about a specific topic that is related to perceivable, passive, profitable, so that you can run an incredibly profitable business, still be doing things that you love because it's going to be passive, and it's a business that you can perceive long-term and continue to believe in. So today we're going to talk a lot about the perceivable, because if you don't believe in it and you can't manage to be in it long-term, then unfortunately you won't be passive or profitable. So today we're going to talk a little bit self-care.
Yeah, self-care is extremely important when it comes to being a successful entrepreneur, especially online, because we don't have someone who's on top of us like a boss telling us to wake up at a certain time and come into work and show up and go home and sleep and be in a certain routine. And so when you are an online entrepreneur, you have to be extremely accountable to yourself to create really good habits to help you with your self-care routine. And you're like in your business, as being an online entrepreneur, you're your biggest asset. And if you don't take care of yourself specifically and do things properly and keep yourself healthy and happy and like mentally healthy and also physically healthy, then that will be detrimental to your your business. And we're talking about Zazzle here, your online business. And then also you won't function as an online entrepreneur. And that will not only hurt you as a person, but also hurt your business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just consider how you would approach doing all the things that you need to do in your business if you were tired, or if you kept delaying things, or if you weren't really happy anymore about what you were doing. And so all the decisions that you make and all the actions that you take with your business are very much dependent on how you bring your A game to the table. But how do you do that without running out of, gas or steam or whatever? You have to be the one that takes care of yourself first in order to be able to deliver and function in your business. So today we're going to give you some tips and advice as to what it is, first of all, that means, and secondly, what you could do about it.
Yeah, so it all depends on who you are and your personality types, but we're going to give you some examples that work well for us and that work well for a lot of other people who are online entrepreneurs, and then you can decide if they will work well with you and you can modify them. But we want to make sure that you have at least sort of 3 or 4 things that you do every single day, and they don't have to be big things. They can be small little things that are non-negotiables, and you actually complete those things so that you're taking care of yourself and you're giving yourself the respect to keep yourself healthy and happy and productive throughout your day. And so what really works for us is that every morning we do some journaling, and journaling can be writing anything in terms of your thoughts, like whatever comes to mind, or you can have specific journal prompts where you actually write based on some sort of topic, or you are writing based on certain gratefulness, I can't speak this morning, gratitudes. And so you don't have to be worried about what comes out of your mind. You can just kind of let it flow, and you don't have to be like specific about anything, but just as long as it sort of gets you into that creative process or gets you into that mindfulness of being grateful and having gratitude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I find it changes for me. Like I said, we said we'd give you more information about what this meant on our Instagram account. And we have these journals, and it's fun actually to go back and see what the journals are, how much we've progressed and or what we've been grateful for. And we use a lot of power of affirmation and law of attraction and positive mindset. And this act of putting, as Jen said, gratitudes in the journal, but also creating them as affirmations and or like vision boards almost every single day. And it reminds us of our goals, and it reminds us that we are capable of those things. And it also sets the stage in terms of what our mind is thinking, because the mind doesn't actually know right from wrong in that sense. So that if you say things like, thank you so much for the $1,000 that I made today, then it's almost like you're allowing your mind to say, yep, that's right, I'm going to be making $1,000 today. So it's something that we cover more in our Creative CEO Mastermind training and coaching programs, and in our Ambitious Inner Circle high-end coaching. But it's very, very simple for you to get started by doing one of those two things, like either just doing what it is that comes to your, like writing down what comes to your mind, but other things such as being very structured and saying, okay, I'm going to be grateful for 5 things that happened in the past, 5 things that are going to happen now, and 5 things that are going to happen in the future. And then you have this structure every day. So by the time you're done, you write 15 gratitudes, and then you move on to your day. And it just really puts you in the right mindset and headspace to just take everything that is required to be done by you as your as not only the CEO of your company, but every other function of your company that you need to run it effectively with. And that is just sort of a great way to start your day. And so we do that every morning.
Yeah. And the second thing that we do is exercise, and whether that be going out and doing yoga or running or going for a brisk walk or going biking or whatever you feel like fancy. Whatever works for you, as in terms of a form of exercise, just moving your body for about half an hour each day, just so you get the blood flowing and that movement. Because as an online entrepreneur and having the ability to work at home, it's an amazing opportunity for us to be at home and work in our own space. But at the same time, we sometimes let hours pass by without actually getting up and moving. And that might not be you specifically, but that definitely is me. And that's challenges is that actually I have to make sure that I schedule in time to work out and do some exercise, because I am always excited to be working on the computer, and I find myself for hours sitting down, and then you actually end up getting, kinks in your neck, or you're not physically moving. So you want to make sure that you're taking care of your physical sense of body, where you're exercising at least for about half an hour each day.
Yeah, well, I also find that it helps with centering again the mind. I'm very much focused on mindset and feeling like I'm capable of being a badass CEO all day long. And if you get more comfortable, and then your mind starts to drift in terms of, am I capable of doing that? Maybe I'll do this later. I'm getting tired now. All of these things are basically associated with your journaling and exercise. And if you start to think those thoughts, then you are actually jeopardizing your ability to continue to be as productive as possible. And we don't want you to work from 9 to 5 1,000%. The idea is that when you're working, and also, and this is what's going to come to the next point, but before I get there and before Jen gets there, we just want you to make sure that when you are working, you're going to be very effective. And that allows you to then have the third point, which is our free time that we insist on, so that we can refuel and re-energize.
Keep going.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I just didn't want to take over.
No?
Yeah, so this is very key, because as Jen said, but we all do it. If we're on the computer, we don't have a lot of other distractions or requirements that need our attention. All of a sudden you can look up and it's 4 hours later, and you go, what just happened to the day? And if the days start to blend and you don't know, what happened, then it's because you haven't put the time and effort in to add something else to your schedule. And we feel like, okay, we're always on this journey to make more money, and so therefore we need to work more hours. But that is not how our business is set up, right? Remember, perceivable, passive, profitable. And we really insist on the passive part, where we are very set on having certain hours that we're going to work very efficiently, smarter, but not harder. And then it's time to make it a passive business, so that we can go out, refuel, re-energize, get different perspective. So even book it right into your schedule, either the amount of hours that you work, or at least your fun time, so you can work around those hours that you work and around that fun time, and then you can make those hours that you're working seem more effective and also more justifiable, because you're actually doing something fun in addition to always working. So do you have more to add to that?
Well, and then, we mentioned the last point that we want to say is definitely get your sleep and get proper rest, because if you're not sleeping properly and not getting enough rest as well, then you're not able to function at your 1,000% to be your badass CEO that you are of your company. And especially with COVID and coronavirus and staying at home, we find ourselves kind of slacking off in all of these areas that we talked about. And because we're not exercising regularly and because we're not doing things that we normally do or in our normal routine, our sleep routines have also been put off and not actually the same as what they were before. If you still have the same sleep routine and you're getting enough sleep, then that's amazing. But a lot of us are finding it difficult to actually fall asleep or to wake up in the morning because we're spending more time, watching Netflix or, binge watching videos or kind of just hanging out and or being extremely stressed about the situation that you're in and you're not getting enough sleep because you're stressed out. And you need to make sure that you have a really good routine to get enough rest that you are able to function the next day and be the badass CEO of your Zazzle business or online business. Because if you aren't getting that rest, then you're not going to be able to function. And
That's
so what we like to say too is have a small routine an hour before you're going to bed, and you put yourself a time. At the beginning, it might be actually very hard to stick to this time, but say you want to go and actually be in bed by 11, then you should start doing your nighttime routine by around 10 o'clock. Have a nice bath if that's something that you like to do, or have a nice hot cup of tea, or start brushing your teeth, or do your nighttime cleansing routine type thing, and get your makeup off and actually sort of take the time to appreciate the fact that you're getting ready for bed. And that will actually start to trick your mind into thinking, okay, now it's time for sleep and I'm actually getting tired, and you're preparing yourself for bedtime. Yeah. If you're on your phone and you're on Instagram or you're watching Netflix until all hours of the night, your mind hasn't actually had time to shut off yet. So even if you turn off your phone 5 minutes later, you're not going to be able to fall asleep. You need that time to take to actually wind down and rest. And if you do have a nighttime routine that you stick to regularly, then that's amazing. But a lot of us right now, as I said, with coronavirus or staying at home, our nighttime routines have been thrown out the window. So that's definitely very important for you to take into consideration when being mentally and physically healthy, because if you're not getting enough sleep, then that will definitely detriment the success of your business and also just you being a person and being able to function properly.
Yes, and it builds on one another. So if you, this is our last and final comment, is if you are in a position where you feel that you're feeling guilty about not getting to all of these things that we're just talking about, then that's not a good thing. So every day you have a new opportunity to start this routine and pat yourself on the back if you even get to one of them. But slowly, your objective is to have these in place, and they're non-negotiables. So I think we need to put the sound on, and then we're going to head out, because what time is it? We wanted to always stick to about 15 minutes, and we want to make sure that you take care of you, because you are the most valuable asset. And if it wasn't for you, you wouldn't be able to run your business. So take care of yourself. Be the most kind person to yourself. You take care of your kids, you take care of your dogs or animals, you take care of everybody else, but you have to take care of yourself first.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us, and
excuse me.
And we will see you next Monday for another Elke and Jen Clarke show. Bye.